Oscar Guy here. How's it going, y'all? Happy holidays. We have yet to reach 2025, but we've made it to the end of 2024. Congratulations. You've done it. What a wild ride it's been, and what a pretty good year of film it's been. The strikes of last year, the writer's strike and the actor's strikes, kind of put a damper on things in a way. It's been a little bit noticeable, but I'm not going to say it was a bad year for films, like some people are saying. It definitely wasn't as good as last year, even the year before, but I think it's still pretty good. I think it was a still pretty good year of films, especially if you are like me and like to seek out good film out there. It was a pretty good year. I will say it was a pretty good year. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't amazing, but it was a pretty good year. And I have compiled my top 10 of 2024. Starting off with the honorable mentions that did not make the cut. Those being Amelia Perez, Good One, Queer, The Piano Lesson, Janet Planet, A Complete Unknown, Flow, The Wild Robot, Problemista, His Three Daughters, Kinds of Kindness, and just barely not making my top 10 at number 11, I have Saturday Night. And I have a couple of special mentions I would like to give a shout out to. The first being a film that you guys know I have not seen yet, and I will not be seeing it, unfortunately, because I am very squeamish when it comes to body horror specifically. And The Substance is the most body horror film of all time. That is why I have not seen it, and it upsets me that I haven't seen it, and I don't want to see it because I don't want to faint 10 times over. So I'm going to give a special shout out, special mention to The Substance. Substance fans, I apologize. I'm rooting for you. I'm on the Substance train with a blindfold on. I hope it gets more love this season. It has been already getting very, very good love this season, but I hope the Academy responds to it very well. So I'm going to give a special shout out to The Substance. And the other film I'm going to give a special shout out to is Megalopolis. I got to. I have to. Francis Ford Coppola's organism. It is a specimen of a film. And I after seeing it a few months ago, I still don't really know what to make of it. I don't know whether I like it or whether I dislike it. I will say right off the bat, it is not a good movie, but it is commendable. It is fascinating. It is unique. It is the biggest of huge swings that I've seen probably in recent memory. It got me feeling a wide range of emotions, some good, some bad, and I have to recognize that. So it's neither honorable or dishonorable. It's just there, and I would just like to give a special shout out to Megalopolis. I think the years will be kind to it. I think it already has a cult following, and I think that following will just grow more and more as the years go on. I don't want to say I'm on its side, but I kind of am. Some people like the movie more than I do, and some people just straight up detest it, which I don't even detest it. Again, I really don't know what to think of it, but I just want to give a special shout out to Megalopolis. And I would like to list off some films that I have not yet seen. I would like to maybe see some of these before the Oscars roll around, and I'm sure there are some others too. These are some films that I have not seen yet, and those films are All We Imagine Is Light, Baby Girl, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, Memoir of a Snail, Nosferatu, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Wicked. I would like to see these films at some point before the Oscars roll around, especially if these films are going to be nominated, which I think most of them will be. That being said, let's get into my top 10 list. I saw this a couple days before Election Day as it seemed appropriate for obvious reasons, but I definitely ate it up. It's not a one-to-one representation by any means to the current American political climate, but in the bigger picture, it certainly puts things into perspective regarding the nature of campaign methodologies, conspiracies, corruption, and just the general in and outs of politics. Edward Berger's vision is so finely tuned, tight, and sharply constructed and executed that it is as gripping as any high-stakes action film. Although the big twist at the end was certainly a choice and it didn't 100% work for me, overall I thought Conclave to be a crisp, calculated, and entertaining papal seed drama. And the ensemble performance is pretty amazing too. Almost over a month after seeing A Different Man, I am still somewhat putting the pieces of it together, but the more I think about it and the more I am reminded of it, the more I like it and the more I want to watch it again. The film's narrative seems to be straightforward on the surface, but its themes and allegories run layers upon layers deep and can become quite mind-bendingly complex as you're along for the ride. But it's a highly inventive, sleek, tragic, hilariously tongue-in-cheek film, and is a masterclass in tone, much like last year's May December, which I was also a huge fan of. And of course Adam Pearson, Renate Reinsve, and of course the exceptional Sebastian Stan all deliver top-notch performances. And I also want to shout out the pitch-perfect score by Umberto Smerilli. Don't sleep on this one, folks. It feels as though all of the people who have seen Sing Sing have to defend its award season chances as we get closer to Oscar night, because it really does deserve all of the attention and accolades as much as anything else this year. Film is pretty great, a very heartfelt and important story told through its meta-narrative perspective, held together by an infectious ensemble performance led by Coleman Domingo and Clarence Macklin. They all deserve serious recognition, bringing this program and its impact to the forefront. Although the screenplay didn't quite stand out to me the first time around, the story tends to speak for itself through its characters, along with its vision and creative footprint. Now, somebody needs to adapt fine print. Jesse Eisenberg delivers a very simple yet quite nuanced and thought-provoking examination of a culture's grief and pain, and how we are supposed to or expected to cope with it across generational gaps. In A Real Pain, the characters are very, very well realized, and while Eisenberg and the rest of the cast are great, it is Kieran Culkin's performance as Benji that sums up what the movie is all about and runs away with it. He's full of contradictions, both hiding from his pain and embracing it all at once. Just such a specific and fascinating individual that both gifts us and challenges us to fully experience catharsis. I wish some of the other characters in the film got a little bit more to do, but nevertheless, A Real Pain is a heartbreaking, hilarious, and beautiful little film that I highly commend. Dune Part 2 is simply beyond spectacle. It almost redefines what a fantasy science fiction epic can be, and director Denis Villeneuve continues to set the bar on that front. Not only does it stick the landing from the ramp that was Dune Part 1, it exceeds on almost every level. The world building and production design is so elevated that you truly forget you're watching a movie. Everything seems so tangible, believable, and conversely, otherworldly. Almost of another universe entirely. I cannot wait to see what they do with Part 3, and I am astounded it can even get more grandiose than it already is. Watch this bad boy on the plane, I mean the biggest screen you can, don't let him down, Bald Elvis is one wacky boy. Out of all of the films I have seen this year, I have watched Sean Baker's Anora the most, and would love to see it time and time again, as it gets better on every subsequent watch. It is a wonderful romp and at times bitingly intense amalgamation of screwball comedy, romance, and crime drama that also succeeds at being a thoughtful and heartbreaking dissection of a life of somebody who just wants to succeed at what they are called to do in the midst of a brutal and unforgiving capitalist society. All told through the relationships and antics of a highly diverse cast of supporting characters. Mikey Madison is, of course, an absolute firecracker. Mark Edelstein, Karen Karagulian, and Vaj Tovmasyan are all comedic gold, but in the end, it is Yura Borisov who is the film's secret weapon. It is a surprisingly accessible film that will both entertain you and challenge you in the best way possible. I like Anora too, Igor. I like Anora too. To me, Challengers is so much more than just the Zendaya threesome movie. It's all about sacrifices of love, ambition, manipulation, friendship, and the complexities therein, all told through a dizzying but necessarily non-linear timeline, portraying each of its three leads through all of their insecurities and motivations along the way nearly perfectly. And the film's tone is almost single-handedly tied together by the absolutely pulse-pounding score by Reznor and Ross. It simply would not be the same film without it. Not to mention the other top-notch crafts as well in regards to its artful cinematography and editing. And there's tennis too, and some tennis? It's been a while since I've seen this one again, so I will need to revisit the yeah sooner rather than later. After declaring Ryosuke Hamaguchi's Drive My Car a total masterpiece, I was stoked to see what he would follow up with, delivering a film that is in some ways similar in terms of its pacing, but conjures up entirely different emotions altogether through a more cerebral approach. Evil Does Not Exist is a brilliant film that got me thinking in ways I simply never have before. It's simultaneously beautiful, hypnotic, tragic, and perhaps most of all, haunting. Its patient and slow-moving story beats and character developments bubble up into a knockout conclusion that arguably begins a dissection of the film's messages altogether, as opposed to wrapping things up. It's an ending that had me feeling in ways I haven't felt since Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog. It sneaks under your skin and challenges you to find its meaning and purpose long after you have seen it. And it's all held together by the hauntingly melancholic score by Eiko Ishibashi that gives me chills just thinking about it. Evil does not exist, but perhaps neither does good. For the first 20 or 30 minutes of Nickel Boys, I was admittedly not completely on board with it, finding the POV perspective presentation somewhat gimmicky and the narrative beats somewhat uneventful. That is until the film puts our two lead characters at Nickel Academy about a third of the way through, when the narrative perspective shifts into a bigger picture. This is where Nickel Boys clicked for me, and from then on it kept getting better, more effective, and truly devastating as the film progresses into a hypnotic and almost spiritual climax and conclusion. This film floored and gutted me, and has such a unique vision that elevates the medium of film into an entirely different level, in my opinion. Deeply disturbing and moving all at once, and very informative to what seems to be a lost piece of American history. Truly this year's zone of interest. Open your mind and seek this one out ASAP. Congratulations! The Brutalist proves to us what movies can be and what they can achieve. As several of its official reviews suggest, the film is without a doubt a monumental achievement in cinema, harkening back to a more golden age of classic filmmaking, chock full of gargantuan cinematic set pieces, breathtaking cinematography, an immaculate score that is simultaneously minimalist as it is sweeping and maximalist, perhaps an allegory to the concept of brutalist architecture itself, and of course, career best performances from Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, and Guy Pearce. Not to mention a stunning directorial effort from Brady Corbet, eliciting the sheer scale of period epics, all while somehow also achieving a nuanced level of intimacy with its storytelling and presentation. The Brutalist is a film that reminds us of the true nature of America, how its systematic inner workings, as sought after and attainable as they can be, can drain a person of their humanity in different fashions, where the end goal of, quote, success can be debated to either be the destination or the journey depending on these factors. It is a first-rate modern masterpiece that will challenge you in both of its themes and also its runtime. Don't worry, there's a brilliant built-in intermission to give our bodies some semblance. The very best films, for my money, are not just movies. They are experiences. And The Brutalist, ladies and gentlemen, is no exception. And yeah, that about does it. That is my top 10, along with my honorable mentions. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what some of your favorite films are. Sound off in the comments below. Give a like, give a sub. A sub as in a subscription, but if you want to give me a submarine sandwich, that's fine too. I don't even know what I'm saying. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of 2024, and let's bring in 2025 as we gear up for some of these major precursors. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Until next time, folks, I catch you all on the flip, and Oscar Guy is out. Happy New Year, y'all.